Okay, we're in the middle of a sugya. We had a case of a katana that accepted Kidushin without the das of the father. Shmuel said she needs get and miyun. Rav agreed with Shmuel, and Ula said you don't even need miyun. You wouldn't not even need miyun. So we're up to the bottom line. Masiv Rav Hamnuna. Now we had earlier in the Masechta we had the concept of yiyud, where a man sells his daughter as a katana, as a shivcha, as a katana, with the hope that the husband, the adain, the master, or the son of the master will go ahead and marriage and marry her off. We had a machloikis tanoim. How does the kedushin facilitated? According to one pshat, it was through the act of the money, the mechira, the act of mechira, and therefore the father was mekadesha. The other pshat was that no, she's mekadesh herself by the bittul of the malacha she doesn't have to do when he's marrying her. So that's worth a shavar pruta. So that's important. So now, ein meichel lekroivim. The Tanakhama says you cannot sell your katana to relatives that she can't marry, because you have to. Tanakhama says you have to have the ability to go ahead and perform yud. Whereas Rabbi Lazar Amru meichel lekroivim, you could, because he learned that it's biti la'ama, that sometimes there's an amma, just as an amma, and not necessarily what with yiyud. So it's not always necessary. It's not always necessary that what you can have yiyud. The shavim, mem heyam and aleph, mem heyam and aleph, the shavim, and they're both equal. Shem meichra almana l'koyin gadol, rusha v'chalutza l'koyin hedyet. That even though they should not marry, but if they would marry, it would be typhus, because it's chayv elav, and the only one who doesn't hold typhus is Rabbi Akiva. Now, we need a case over here, guys. Let's fill in the blanks. It was speaking about a katana when she's an almana, and you're selling it to a kohen gadol. So how can the father retain rights to sell her? We have to fill in the blanks. How to create the case, right? This katana that's an almana, what exactly is the case? Ilema the kitchavia, the father was mekadesha, and then her husband died. Mi matzi masrim, look, could he sell her again? Ha'ein adam meichres bitay l'shivchas acha ishus. Once ishus was taking place and he sold her, once she was married already, he loses the right to go ahead and marry her off. So that can't be the case of selling your daughter katana as an almana. Azam in almana, you can't. Ella must be. Only the Gemara could do this. Ella lav the kiddush ihi nafsha. She must have been mekadesh herself, and therefore the father. Okay, now the kakari le almana, and you're calling her an almana. Now, bishleim, if you hold the kedushin works, I can understand she's an almana. But Ula, you said you don't even need me, and you don't need to get, because the katana can't do anything. Then she's not an almana. She's a free agent. In other words, we have a case over here that clearly states, this is a Tanoic statement, that the Tanakama and Rebbe Lazar are both in agreement that a man can sell his daughter when she's an almana to a kohen gadol. Now, how did she become an almana? If it's the classic case of a father marrying her off, she's an almana, that can't be the case, because he would not be able to go ahead and sell her as a shivcha again. So it must be he never sold her. It must be she went ahead and was mekadesh herself, and her husband consequently died, and therefore she's an almana. Now, how'd she get to be an almana? It must be she was married, because the kedushin worked. Do you see? It's a raya that kedushin the almana that a katana can be mekadesh herself. Who? The husband of this katana. Again, if you hold it's a kedushin. But again, now elolav the kodeshi nafshe v'kari l'almana. Kashan Ula. Amar Avamra, Amar Rabbi Yitzchak, Hacha b'kedushe yiyud. Va'ali b'Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda. Okay, now, we're speaking about kedushe yiyud, meaning, you know where she's an almana from? Her father sold her. Right? And her adain went ahead and married her. He did yiyud. Good, he married her. He consequently died, and she's still a katana. The father then would have a right to go ahead and marry her off again. Now, it depends. If you hold the father was Mekadesh her once, how? Because the money of the Mechira was Kesef Kedushin, he would not be able to set to Mekadesh her a second time. So it must be the opinion that it's not the father that's being Mekadesh her. It must be that she was Mekadesh herself. Why? Through what? The fact that she was Mevatel from the Malacha. That was the second opinion. And that's what the Gemara says right now. Va'aliba the Rabbi Yosef Yehuda and like the Tana Rabbi Yehuda the Amar Mayas Rishonis, the first money given that the father got is Kesef Mechira, Lavli Kidushin Nitnu. And the Kidushin is facilitated by what? By her being Mevatel the Shavapruta. So, and that's the Lamdisha case. And therefore, Ula has saved face. Ula, you're asking a kasha on Ula, let's go through that side again.
It's not tantamount to accepting Kidushin.
Yeah, she did accept Kedushin, but it's not a problem. The problem the father can't sell if the father was Mekadesh. The father wasn't Mekadesh. It is Kedushin, but the father he can't go ahead and be Mekadesh and sell her. If she was the Kiddush. What?
Wasn't the question on
Ula said again, but this is special. That's a katana. This is a katana, a regular katana accepting Kedushin in the street without a father's knowledge. This is Yiyud. This is a Kedushin. It's understood she's going to be Mekadesh. That's the whole parsha. That's the whole parsha. So again, a beautiful kasha and a beautiful teretz, guys. A beautiful kasha, and beautiful teretz. Yeah, you won't think about it. This is what Gemara. This is the beauty of Gemara. It really gets you to think. So now, again, Ulu's question was, if a katana can be Mekadesh herself, how do we have a brisa that's saying that the father can sell the daughter when she's an almana? Now, how did she become an almana? She's a katana. A father can't sell his daughter when she's a naira, guys. The speaking that shati lishazeh is only when she's a katana, correct? We know that's the biggest raya. It's a kal v'chomer. Ma'adach when she is what a naira, she goes free, right? Certainly, right. He can't sell her as a shivcha when she's a naira. So he can only sell a naira when she's what? She's a katana. Only sell her when she's a katana. Good, that's it. So now the brisa clearly says that the Chachamim and Rebbe Laza, who argue whether you can sell to Kreivim or not, they're both in agreement that Almana l'kain gadol. How did she become an almana? If the father was Mekadesh her and her husband consequently died, the father can't sell her. He lost his rights. So it must be that what she was Mekadesh herself. So what do you see? That it works, not like Ula. And for Ula, no. And for Ula, she wasn't Mekadesh herself. This is Kedusha Yiyud. Her father sold her. The other married her, which he's supposed to do. It's exactly what he's supposed to do. If the father married her, how could the father sell her? He married her off. And the answer is the father didn't marry her off. Because we're going according to the opinion that it's not the kesef mechira that becomes kedushin, it's the fact that she's mevatel from malacha. That's the kesef kedushin. So in fact, she's going ahead right and she's marrying herself off. Ula held serve, weiter. Again, difficult, interesting sugya, not an easy sugya, but another application of it. Again, a naira marries herself without her father's knowledge. And you find out later on, it could be the father's happy, the father's not happy. We saw yesterday, Rav and Shmuel, what did they both say? You would need a get and you need mimer. You need a get, maybe the father was happy. You need mimer, why? Because maybe you'll say that Kidushin is not typhus by what? By the sister. And it is typhus by the sister. So therefore you need mimer to go ahead and avert that. Says the Gemara, Itmar, mace v'nafla lifnei achiv liyibum. So this katana married herself off. Her husband consequently dies, and now she falls in front of a brother for Yibum. So now, if she wasn't married, there's nothing. If she was married, then you got a Zika. So now, Amarav Huna Amarav, to cover all bases, you know what we need? The following. If the brother did mimer, she would need to do miyan on that mimer. But we're going to see in a second, but there's no menace for Zika. What does that mean? Ketzad. Okay, watch. Ketzad. Asa b'maimer. The brother gives her a kesef kedushin. She was married to this guy against the father. The father didn't know about it. The guy died. The brother now goes ahead and gives her, does maimer, right? Now, tzricha get, she'll need get, chalitza, and she'll need chalitza. Now, why would she need a get? because of the mimer. The original Kidushin is gone, he's dead. The original Kidushin is gone, he's dead. So you would need mimer, the get for the mimer, v'tzricha mion, and you need mion. Tzricha get, why? Shemin isratza av b'kedushay sheni. Maybe you'd need a get, because maybe the father's happy with the second Kidushin, meaning the mimer. The father's happy with the mimer. V'tzricha chalitza, shemin isratza ha'av b'kedushay rishon. You would need chalitza, maybe the father is nisratza with kedushay rishon. Rashi says that he doesn't know why they have to bring that in. And tzricha mion shem alay nisratza av loy b'kedushay. The second this part shem alay nisratza av loy b'kedushay rishon loy b'kedushay sheni. Okay, no, the Rashi. We need the kedushay rishon for that what it is mion because there was a relationship. Tzricha chalitza shem esratza av b'kedushay rishon. Tzricha mion shem alay nisratza av loy b'kedushay rishon loy b'kedushay sheni. And really, you wouldn't need anything. You wouldn't need anything then. Again, guys, you would need a chalitza for the zika. If the father was happy with the kedushay rishon, correct? So there's a zika. You need that zika. You need a chalitza. Good. You need a get because why? Because there's a kedushin over there. There's a mimer. Anytime there's a mimer, you need a get, right? Even regular. Now, what happens if the father's not happy with anything? So you need nothing, correct? But if you don't have anything, the people go ahead and say that the sister will marry, and she only need to get nothing. Why? Because they will mistakenly think that maybe who knows. So therefore Therefore you do mion. Let's say so that's the case of guys. That's the case you need mion for the mimer. Now, what about this case? Let's say he doesn't do mimer. So let's say the Tana married a guy. He dies. Falls to the brother. Brother does not do mimer. Right? Eina tzricha ela chalitza bolvad. You'll only need chalitza. Why won't you need a get? Why should you need a get? There's no kedushin. The first husband's dead. There's nothing the second one, right? It's a regular yibum case. Eina tzricha ela chalitza bolvad. My Amir, what are you going to say? Tiboy inami miyun. You should need miyun as well. Shema Yomru ain't Kidushin Taifsim B'Chaisa. That Kidushin that you worry that they're going to say Hakol Yodim. Everyone knows that what Achas Chulatza is the Rabbanon. Everyone knows that Achas is the Rabbanon. Look at Rashi, 3 lines down, it gets wide. Hakol Yodim Shafilu Im Chalitza Zu Chalitza Gemura Kidushin Taifsim B'Chaisa. Achas Chalutza Ein Asur El Midabei Seifim. So in other words, what are you worried about? You can say Kedushin's not typhus when she's an Eshes Shish. Everyone knows Kedushin is typhus. Because everyone knows that what? Achas chalutzasa is the Rabbanan in nature. So everyone seems to know that. I call you, everyone's a lamdan. You're sitting there saying everyone knows it, but I don't.
They don't know the other.
Right. I call you Achas chalutzasa the Rabbanan. Dam Reish Lakish, Kan Shana Rebbe, Midivrei Seifim. Okay. Then he said, here, Achas chalutzasa is Midaraisa, and Achas chalutza is so if you don't do anything, all you need is regular chalitza. You don't need maima, because even if you get married, everyone's going to know the marriage is a good marriage, and no one's going to get bent out of shape. Okay, says the Gemara Vayta. Hanu Beitrei, there were the 2 individuals. Because shasi chamra tute tzipi, they were drinking wine underneath a tzipi. Okay, that sounds like tipi, but it's not. It actually, according to Rashi, it's some type of shetach, some type of shelter. It's from, you have protruding from a building, you have the haciendas in Mexico, you have those things protruding and they have some type of canvas over there, or Rashi says it's some type of arava. Rashi says it could be sometimes a rava. That's what's a rava. A rava, I think, is willows. If listen, I don't want you to get too happy. Okay, anyway. So and they were sitting on this place in Babel. Shokal chad minayu kasa the chamra. One took a silver cup of wine, a cup of wine, not a silver, excuse me, cup of wine. Yavle lechavre gave it to his friend. Lama trinkin alachayim. Ama migdash shali bartech mikachli bartech lebrei. Let your daughter be mekudeshes to my son. Now the son doesn't know about this. The daughter knows about it, but the daughter l'chayra, if she's a katana, you do it. But even a naira you could do it, right? Even if she's a naira, you can mekadesha. So you can't sell her, but you can mekadesha. Ravina, afilu man da chashid and shem nisrat sa'av, that maybe the father's happy with the Kidushin, right? With the, even right. Nonetheless, on the base, shem nisrat sa'av ben lo yaminan. We don't say that maybe because again he has to see. Look at the top Rashi. Shem nisrat sa'av ben b'kedushay shekit shelo ya'av shalei midaitoi lo yaminan. The av b'kedushay bitoi b'choldahu nichalei. And av marrying off his daughter is happy with anything, as we said. The tav l'meis of tandoi, l'meis of amaloi. Better to sit two together than one alone. Aval gavra daik v'nasiv. A guy, no, he's more particular. He's going to check it out. Uben ain't a b'rishus of, and the son is never in the b'rishus of the father. L'kadosh la'isha shalei b'shlikusai. So this is not going to work. This is not going to work. Okay. Amil Rabbanu Ravina v'dilma shliach shavya. Maybe he made him a shliach. Maybe the son made the father a shliach. Says mulei chotzev inish l'shavya levu shliach. Person would have the chutzpah to go ahead and make his father shliach. Maybe his son expressed liking this girl. Maybe he expressed liking the girl. So it's like so good when we got shlichus and work al svat zaken la'adam shleibah. By now we know that even if you don't have shlichus, there's then a schia, correct? That it's good he didn't appoint you as shliach, but since he was maratza, he's happy with it. I'll be mizak you. Hey, guess what? I'm bringing you home your dream girl, right? So Amar Lochu Rabba Bar Simi Befeirisham Amar Leisava Lahad Ravu Shmuel. He Mamish does not hold like Ravu Shmuel. Ravina Mar here is Ravina does not hold like Ravu Shmuel. Let's see Rashi, fellas. Ravina, when it gets thin, a few lines down. Shamati Mimenu. I heard from Ravina Leisava Ravu Shmuel that what that Choishish and Shemin Esratza Av. That when a katan accepts Kidushin, maybe the father's happy with it. And certainly we're not going to be chayish that perhaps the son made the father a shliach. Unless we heard it openly. So in other words, you tell me Ravina doesn't hold of it. Guys, look back at the Yom Aleph. Look back at the Yom Aleph for a second. Ravina, now you're telling me now he doesn't hold this at all. So why is he saying this? Why is he saying it? He doesn't hold it at all. So Rashi comments, you know what? Look, Ravcha in the Milsa. He just said it, managed to go ahead and expand on the matter. In other words, he wanted to be very convincing. He goes, even according to that man the Yoma, not that I hold that way, but even according to that man the Yoma, no one goes ahead and has what, and a son is going to go, a father's going to be Kaddish for a son. Even like the man the Yoma, that what, a father will be happy for a daughter, a son's not going to be happy with his father. Okay, so that, but not that he holds that way. He doesn't hold it at all. So therefore, there's nothing to be chayish for over here. There's no Kidushin whatsoever. Who got it was an individual. The Kaddish Bekisha the Yarka Beshuka, he did two no-nos. One, he used something very, very cheap, vegetables. He used a gouda, a bundle of vegetables, and where in the shuk. To be Kaddish in the shuk is considered a ganai. It's something usually done in the house. So a person went ahead, he was Makadish using Kisha the Yarka Beshuka. Amar Ravina, Afilim on the Amachashin Shemin Esratza Av. Even you're going to say that what? Maybe this guy's Makadish a katana, the father will be happy. Hani Mili Derech Kavid. That daf will be Derech Kavid. This is an addendum to the Sugya. You're coming to the end of the Sugya, even according to Mandiyan, who says a father will be happy if his daughter's katana accepts Kedushin. Not going to be happy if he come home, look what I got. Instead of a ring, you come home with what? With a bunch of vegetables, right? You're coming home, like I got something from Costco, you came home with a celery stalks from Costco. That was racist. That was racist. Anyway, so even man Yama, there's not derech covered. Aval derech bezoyin loy, but derech bezoyin not. Now, what's the bezoyin over here, guys? There's two possibilities. Is it the vegetables or the street? Oh, it says the Gemara, Amalei Ravacha, or either. Amalei Ravacha midifli Ravina, bezoyin demai, I bezoyin the yarka, I bezoyin the shuka. Nafkamina, the kiddush bekaspa beshuka. Let's say you use kesef in the street. So if it's the vegetables, it's good kedushin. I bekisha the yarka bebesa, and if it's the street, then it's good kedushin. Mai. Amalei idvi derech bezoyin. They're both derech bezoyin. You need both there. You need both. In other words, you need both. Either one is going to be a bezoyin. Either one. Well, what the Bizayin is Bismillah say, the way the kids get engaged, it's a production. It's a whole production. Other people are there and they film it, and it's a thing. So Harold, we're old people. I still remember you getting down on your hands and knees and Rifki, and she said, "What the hell are you doing?" Anyway, says the Gemara. She said, "Get up."
Get out. I can't.
He said, "I can't get up. My back hurts."
Where's the magnifying glass? I gotta see. I gotta look.
Penny, you're not laughing. Okay, anyway. Penny, so the Yankees are better and the Phillies are in, big deal. Welcome to the worlds of the Mets fans. Anyway, says the Gemara Vahita.
You're back to the Mets?
Oh, you woke up. Very good.
That's it?
Now they're fighting over who should marry who. So Ahuda Amar the Kravai, married to my relatives. Vi Amar the Kreva, my relatives. Katfe, literally Katfe means she tied him up, but in this means Rashi says she badgered him. she used her influence on him. Had the Amala, careful, Dr. being taped. Had the Amala to have a Kreva. He agreed. It'll be to Akrivim. Had the Achli Vishasi, while they were eating and drinking. In other words, they're by the wedding party. And guess what? It's going to be Taha Krivim. Asa Kreve came along his Krivim. The Igra in the Aliyah. The kid shot and Makadosh the kid. It's down. Amar Abaya says Abaya. Siv Sheris Yisrael Yasa Avla. Right? Eretz Yisrael. The pasuk says Sheris Yisrael Yasu Avla v'Yidabu Kazav. In other words, the father who agreed to her kroivim would not go ahead and be happy with this Kidushin, and therefore it's not a Kidushin. In other words, a person's not going to go ahead and back on his word and say, what? No, what? It's okay. Good, I wanted it in the first place. But once I agreed that your relatives, his wife's relatives, it's his wife's relatives and not his. Amar Abaya, that's what Abaya says. Rava Amar Chazokin doesn't tarech besuda umafsida. Who's paying for this wedding? He's paying for the wedding. So what's he going to do? He's going to mafsid the wedding because he's not marrying this person, going upstairs and marrying the other person. So therefore, it's not a good Kidushin. So each one says it's not a Kidushin for different reasons. The Gemara has an afkamina. Says the Gemara, my benayu, it could be nayu d'lei tarach. Let's say it was a cheap caterer. Yeah, it was no big. So guess what? So I guess the second guy lucked out. Then okay. But Lloyd Abaya, guy's not going back on his word. Side by side. Okay. Niskasha Lidas Avia. She was niskadish with what she was accepted what Kidushin with the father's knowledge, right? She accepted Kidushin with the father's knowledge. The halach Avia Medina's Hayam. Father goes overseas. The Umda Venisas. And now she gets married. In other words, she accepted Kidushin without the das. And now this is Nisuin. So Eris, Niskacha is Kidushin. That's Erison. Erison and Kidushin are synonymous, right? The Umda Venisas is Nisuin Avi. Nisuin means this is the second state of marriage. So now the father's not, and she's given herself over to this guy's Rishus. Amarav, if the person who's Mekadesh or was married was a Kayin, Aichelis mit Truma, she can eat Truma. Even though she didn't Nisuin, which later that's the father. And we know that you only eat truma after nisuin. Midaraisa you do before when you're arusa. But we said two reasons why we shouldn't. Everyone knows, the other one not so well known. On one, you go back to the father's house. That's the one everyone knows. What's the second one? I'll tell you the Hebrew word. Maybe you won't know that either. Simpum. You could worry that maybe you're going to find blemishes, some kind of things, and he's going to say mekach tois, and then lima freya, all the truma sheyet will be what misa b'nei shemayim. Okay, so therefore you don't eat truma. You don't eat truma when she's in arusa. Okay, so Amarav, now this is Nesua, she's going to eat truma at sheyavoy avia v'yimcha until the father comes into Meicha, and he's megala what that that you don't want, that he doesn't want the Nesuin. Rav Asi Yoma Eino Echeles, she doesn't eat. Shema Yovo Avia V'Yimcha V'Yimsa Zora Echeles B'Truma L'Mafreya, and she will have eaten Truma L'Mafreya. So Rav says she eats, Rav Asi says she doesn't eat. Haviyuvda, there was a Maisa where a Katana accepted Kidushin from a Kayin, father went overseas, and then in fact, what? She married the Kayin. And you know, v'choshlei l'Rav l'hoder Rav Asi, that what? Not to feed her, because you're worried that when the father comes back, he'll nullify the marriage, and she would have eaten l'mafreya, she would have eaten Truma. Maisa, no, again, this is what he did. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak u'moida Rav. Rav is moida she'mesa, that what? If the woman dies, then we won't consider Nesuah in Yerusha. Ve'ina Yarsha, he won't inherit her. In other words, Rav who holds she's in the Nesuah in Achilas Truma will not go to the extent and say that what? She's in the Nesuah without the father's knowledge that the husband would inherit her. Sha'uki mimana b'cheskes mara, because it's a suffix what the father's going to do. So as always, when you have a suffix when it comes to money, what do we do? Right? We keep the money on the status quo. Baruch Hashem, we know that by now. Now she's Niskachel das avia. Finisa shaloi das avia. So the Kidushin was with the father's das, but the Nesuim was at the father's das. Right? Well, again, the father's there. The avia Khan. He knows about it. He knows about it. He's quiet. When he's overseas, he doesn't know about it. Over here, Vavia Khan, meaning he knows about the Nesuin and he's quiet. He's quiet. So is he happy when he's quiet? Is he being masking to this? Rav Huna Amar Eina Oichela, she doesn't eat Truma. Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba Amar Oichela, she does eat Truma. Rav Huna Amar Eina Oicheles, Vafilu Rab Damar. Even a Rab would say you eat Truma when she's overseas. That's Hasam Hu Delay Isa La'ab, the father's not there. Aval Hacha the Isa La'ab, that the father is there. Hai de Ishtik is Mr. Surasach. He's stewing. He's angry. And that's he's quiet, is he doesn't want to do an Avera. Say something nish kashadik. You know, he wants to say something nice. So it's worse that the father's there and knows about the Nesuin, and he's quiet because he's angry. Therefore, you don't. Says Rav Huna, even Rav, my Rebbe would say you don't need Truma. Rav Yirmiyah Rabbi says no, Echeles. Rav. Now the opposite. What did Rav Asi say if the father's overseas? You don't need Truma, right? Here Rav Asi says you do. Right? What's the reason? Here we say Afilu Echeles Hasam, who when overseas the Shema Yavu Avia V'Yimcha, maybe the father's going to show up and be Meicha. But over here, Midishasik, when he's quiet, is Snuchi is Nachale, or else he would have opened his mouth in the first place. Right? He would have opened his mouth in the first place. It's very interesting that Machloik is how you're viewing the father's shtika. According to Rav, you're viewing it as that he's not maskim. According to Rav Asi, according to Rav Yirmiyah bar Abba, you're viewing it as shtika kaida. Niskacha the kayin shaloi l'das avia, v'nisa shaloi l'das avia. So now you have two negatives. One, the Kidushin was shaloi l'das, and Sveitin's the Nesuim was shaloi l'das. So Avia Khan, and the father's here. Rav Huna Amar Oichela, she eats Truma. Rav Yirmiyah Rabba Amar Eina Oichela, she doesn't eat Truma, right? Because Rav Yirmiyah guy said before you do eat Truma, that's when the Kidushin was Ladas the father. That's when the Kidushin was Ladas the father. But here, when the Kidushin was Ladas the father, he would says, "What you don't eat Truma." Amar Ula Hadir Rav Huna, this Rav Huna that says that what it doesn't make any sense. You tell me one place you do eat, the other place you don't eat, right? It's kichayim, the shinayim. It's like vinegar to the teeth, uka'ashin leinayim, smoke to the eyes. Okay, listen what he's saying. When the father was there, the father knew about the Kedushin. He doesn't know about the Nesuin, and he's quiet. You're going to take his shtika as what? As you could eat. Over here, he doesn't know about the Kedushin. He doesn't know about the Nesuin, but he's there, and he finds out. Can't eat. Says Rav Huna, says Ula, that Rav Huna's psak I don't understand. Why? Hashta. Uma Hasam. By Kedushin of the father. And the father knew about the Kedushin and not about the Nesuin. The Kedushin da'araisa, the Kedushin is Taifus da'araisa. Amarta le'achla, you're going to say you don't eat. Again, when the father, you're telling me over there, when the father knew about the Kedushin and was overseas, and doesn't know about the Nesuin, you don't eat. Amr lo achla, hacha over here, where you don't know at all, like kol shekain, that it should be asa to eat, because you don't know if its Kidushin is good at all. It says, and Nirin Divrei Talmud, the words of the Talmud, Ula is Messiah now. Nearer the words of the Talmud, Rav Yomi bar Rabbi, who's the Talmud of Rav Huna, who says you don't eat, more than Rav Huna, who says you do eat. My time, Rav Huna, right? What's the reason you do eat according to him? That since you became like a nesua b'chayav. What does that mean? Look at Rashi. B'chayav kitcha. In his lifetime, you were Mekadesh. And she married herself for Shalei L'Daitoi. Ki'ilu, it's if he is Saima, because the father's not there. V'hu ra'ah, he saw his daughter get married, Nesuin v'shasak. Either Oyhifka Schus Sheyesh Laba, either he was Mafka the Schus he had in her, to give her away, Oyshti Kaslei Haida, or his shtika is that happy. The Bishlem in the Scotch L'Daitoi, Finistis Shaloi L'Daitoi, Ikla Meimar B'chodesh Shtika, Mirsis Rasach. It's possible to say one shtika he's angry, Aval Kule Hai Le'Shasik, but to be silent by both, you will not say. And therefore, what? That's the reason why you would be able to go ahead, what, and eat. Okay.
The beginning is fine. I understand why